very senile, which is cool. But make a long story short, Brutus was downstairs. He was sitting in the chair. He had this chick come over, this bodybuilder chick, and she was, taking care of Brutus, giving Brutus a happy ending.
Right.
And she had blonde hair. Nene came downstairs in the middle of the night and caught him in action. The next morning, Nene tells Linda that I was down there with Brutus instead of his girlfriend. So Nene, just saw blonde hair down there,
right,
doing Brutus a happy ending, and told Linda it was me. And it was just
that actually ended up being kind of a little mini drama series in itself, because you had to like explain. So I mean, because Linda came.
No, I didn't have to explain it. It was just so ridiculous. We belly laughed about it, but now, I guess 20 years later, I don't know if that's the story or not.
No, I don't either. I don't know if that's the story or not either, to be honest with you.
But it's so weak. That's something that Linda would probably go with. Just like she said that I beat her for 20 years, but she never called the cops, never filed a police report. And brother, if anybody touched Linda, she'd be the first one to call the cops.
Oh, if Linda ever saw a payday, she would capitalize on it. Here are the 6 cuts from the Hack show who can't get the real star in the family, and they are so taken back by you and I's relationship and our friendship and your appearance on my show that they're obsessed with it. But here's the 6 things that I'd like for you to address, because nobody's going to address this. This is definitely something we need to do. Stand by.
Do you think the TV show kind of led to the unraveling of the marriage, or?
No. I mean, the TV show was fun for us. We had 28 film crew at our house every day, and
so, Hogan, let me just stop this, and I know you're going to chime in as well, and just let me give my opinion, as I did yesterday, and that is the TV show was fun for 3 of the Hogans, but if I remember right, and I can even call Scott and some of the executive producers that I'm sure you're going to depose, she sat up, you guys would have a 9 or a 10 a.m. call time, and she'd be so wined and Xanaxed up for the night before that literally you would have to go up and beg and pry her out of bed, and sometimes not till 2 or 3 in the afternoon would she come down. So that's not fun for anybody.
The first day of the shoot, she cussed Scott Bennett like a dog, and he came running downstairs and goes, "Oh my gosh, I think the show's ruined. Linda just F-bombed me probably 10 times in a row. I just met her." But the truth was, we couldn't get her downstairs. She was always complaining, "I don't want to film today. Do I have to film today? Tell them to come back tomorrow." She wouldn't come downstairs. She was always biatching and complaining. And at the end of the day, they had so many problems that John Earhart, the producer, actually, the word on the street was when she started ranting and raving, just to put your cameras down.
Right.
Just to quit filming, because it was to the point where she was unbearable. It was miserable, and she disappeared all the time. It's like the last season, she disappeared on us for 2 weeks, wouldn't come back, and then the end of the show.
If I remember right, Terry, talking about this, there was a time where you thought you were going to be sued by Viacom because she left. Nobody knew where she was, and you couldn't find her, and you're contractually obligated to be there and put on a show. And CBS called you up, Viacom, and said, "Listen, you know what? We're going to sue you because you're not coming with." Is that true?
Well, the last season, she was hell to work with all 4 seasons, but when the seasons were done, it was time to walk the red carpets and go out for the VH1 Music Awards. She was all about that, but it was hell, getting through the days. She never wanted to work. She would cuss everybody. They had to lose a lot of the footage. They had so much B-roll of Linda going off that basically a lot of it's locked away, John said, but most of the time they just started putting the cameras down. But the last season, we started the season in Miami. The first day she split. After a week, we had tents set up outside production offices. They have to rent a lot of stuff to move the whole crew and get set up. After the first week, I get a call from New York, "When's your wife coming back?" I talked to Linda finally. She said she'd be back Monday. All of a sudden, she decides, "I'm not coming back for another week." So now I have to tell the people, in New York that she's staying away 2 weeks. This is a deal buster. Sometimes when actors get sick for one day, they don't know how they're going to make it up. They don't know what it's going to do to the budget at White House. She's taken on 2 weeks. Now we finally get her back. I cannot believe they didn't pull the plug. Pink Sneakers had to eat a lot of it. We filmed the last season. All of a sudden, the last week, the most important week, especially since she boned them on the beginning, the last week, the most important week, because they're so far behind, the week to do pickup shots and piecemeal all the shows together where you get holes in all the shows. She disappears again the last week. She says, "Oh, we don't need to do pickup shots. That doesn't mean anything. We've shot enough. They've got enough stuff." She boned them again the last week. Made it impossible to work with her.
And I know that, you were worried about them, having some type of, litigation against you,
Yeah, I said, we're here. We all signed individual contracts. I said, I'm here. Nick's here. Brooks here. I said, if you go after anybody, go after her. She's the one that's not here.
Okay. Now, so hold on. Here.
Much, the kids loved it, and we were friends with them, and they were like family. But ultimately, in our personal life, we had things that were going on in our marriage, and it got to a point where I pretty much just couldn't deal with the infidelities that my husband kept having. So I just had to make a decision at that point, and say this is just unacceptable. I have to move.
Well, that's convenient, isn't it?
Well, the first thing is, the infidelities that my husband kept having, if Linda knew about one infidelity, what do you think she'd have done? She'd have been gone, brother.
Yeah.
She didn't even find out about the Christiane thing till months and months and months after it happened. So just like she lied about Charlie's age, she tried to set Brooke up with Charlie as soon as they met, and Brooke goes, no, Mom, this is the kid in school with me. He's younger than me. His face is covered with zits. And the whole time we went to school, he was hygienically, he was like kind of like a scumbag. Brooke goes, no, Mom. So, like, Linda lied about Charlie's age. Linda knew all along how old Charlie was. Linda's lying about the infidelities because, believe me, brother, if she knew of one situation where I defected, she would have been gone in a heartbeat.
There's a lot of women applauding you for it.
Yeah. Now, how many of these did you look the other way on?
Well, like I said, I was married for 24 years. I don't know how I stayed married that long, but yeah, it was going on a long time. So you just get to a point in your life and say, something, it's time to move on. I have to make this choice.
Oh God.
I mean,
I don't know what to say, dude. It's not true.
No, I know it's not true, buddy. I'm just saying that's what she's out saying. That's what she's out saying.
What I'm saying is she's making everybody think that she knew about hundreds and hundreds of infidelities. It's not true, bro. That when she blew and went crazy was after the marriage was over, after she filed for divorce, this Christiane thing came out. Then she went crazy, bro, because if she knew that I'd had 2,000 million relationships, she'd have been gone in a heartbeat. You know that.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so...
now, I don't know... I just got to get your opinion on this next one.
What about you? Did you remain faithful through all this, or did you have a few slip-ups, to make yourself feel good, or?
No, never. And in fact, I would be terrified to even think going there. My husband, Hulk Hogan, are you kidding me?
So it's convenient to be your wife when you can proclaim that you could never cheat on you because you're Hulk Hogan, big, bad, tough guy. But it's not convenient to be your wife when you're Hulk Hogan, big bad tough guy, because you're going to get your ass kicked, and you got to make all these these false domestic violence charges and stuff.
Well, brother, she was saying from day one about Charlie Hill that they were only friends. It was platonic, and everybody knew they were running hard. She was running around telling all of her girlfriends at the hair salon it was the best sex she ever had. She was going crazy telling people about Charlie. And as far as we all know that she's got this crazy appetite for young men, and the whole time I was married, she always had a bunch of young kids around her. We're going into the divorce thing right now, so it's going to get specific as we go through this. So
don't say it here. It'll come out soon enough.
Yeah. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's take what you want.
But here's the deal, man. I'll tell you this right now, and I think I can. I'm not going to say any specifics. Brent, we would be down lifting weights, right? And Hogan and I would suspect. We're not stupid. We're not the sharpest knives in the drawer because all we cared about was each other. We were scratching each other's backs. But in between scratching each other's backs and French kissing, we suspected several times of several different young boys that were running around there that they were having something. And guess what Hogan said? Brother, I could care less. That's on them. If her screwing around with them means that she'll be off my ass a little bit, then so be it. He goes, I could care less.
It was to the point where I could care less what was going on.
Yeah. So but Hogan, you know what? There's several names that we have on the tip of our tongues that we were, very suspicious of, but didn't care.
What I don't get? It's a no-fault state anywhere. Anyway. There's no kids. There's no child support. None of that custody stuff. Right. And at the end of the day,
who cares?
What's that?
You're right. It's a no-fault state.
It's a no-fault state, so none of it matters.
She was saying I was hiding hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Under her deposition, she said she had no idea why, she thought I was hiding it. And she says, I don't know of anything. And, for 23 years, I handed her every single check